So we have Rogue Waters, a tactical turn-based RPG that is also a roguelite. And in this video we're going to be going through if I believe this is worth playing. And just very quickly before we jump into this one, a massive thank you to Keymailer for hooking me up with a key. And the very first thing I'm going to say is what a brilliant game. What this game basically does is takes your typical turn-based game and adds in some elements that you wouldn't expect to see in a game like this. Things that people should see in more games like this. For an example, at any point during your turn, you are able to press backspace and undo your moves. So even if you're right at the end of your turn, you are able to go all the way back through your entire turn, and if you feel that one single move was a mistake, you can change it all during that turn. And I think that's fantastic, especially because this is a roguelite. The developers tell you time and time again in this game to expect to die a lot, and dying a lot is exactly what you are going to do. So basically, you start this one off, and you've got an entire prologue that's going to teach you the ropes. There's a fantastic tutorial. A lot of it's done through text, but it explains it very well. And basically, the goal of this game after you've completed the prologue is you are going to start raids. You're going to take your own pirate crew into battle. You're going to make progress through the journeys, and there are options as well. You can go for something, for an example, a short duration, low stakes raid. You could go for a normal stakes, medium duration raid. Or you could pick a raid that is going to make progress in the story of the game. So once you have chose your raid, you are going to set off. You're going to set sail. You're going to take your crew and you are going to make advancements through this raid until you get to the end of it. So your very first encounter might be a simple ship that's got a few pawns and maybe a flintlock or two on it. Those are different types of enemies. And what you do is when you encounter a ship, you have a little sea battle. There's no control in the ship or anything like that. You'll basically select your cannons and you're going to try and wipe out the enemy cannons or even some of the gear items or even the crew that this ship has. Everything you manage to destroy is going to benefit you in the actual hand-to-hand combat. But with this sea battle, you only get 3 turns. And another thing I like about this is when it's your turn and you are planning out what you're going to try and destroy on the ship, it's going to give you lines that come off the enemy's cannons over to your items, and it's going to show you your enemy's next move to give you a better idea of what the enemy is planning. Like, for an example, say they want to try and take out your main captain. You're going to know exactly what they're aiming for. But you fire your cannons, say you've taken out all of their cannons and you've also taken out one of their bits of equipment that is going to let all of their crew heal 1 HP at the beginning of each turn. Then what happens after the 3 turns are up with the ship battle is your crew is going to board their ship, and that's where you start the hand-to-hand combat. And in this game you have your own crew. You start off you have your main captain who's immortal, comes back every single time no matter what. You've then got crew that you can use glass, which is a currency in the game, to recruit. And then you've got mates, which are essentially just backup crew members. And they don't really matter too much, because the crew that you recruit is going to stay with you throughout all of your raids. They are going to earn XP, they're going to level up, get better skills, and improve throughout your journeys. So you get onto a ship, you board it, you start the hand-to-hand crew combat, and this is where you're able to use backspace and undo and things like that, but there's lots of different elements to these fights. At the beginning, you are going to deploy your crew, and you have quite a few spaces. They'll be in different locations of the ship, or sometimes even when you're on land. So you basically strategize where you're going to deploy your crew, you deploy it, they all come swinging in on ropes, and then you will take on the turn-based combat. And the good thing about this game, some things I really, really like about the combat in this one, is if you attack an enemy and there is a wall behind them, there's barrels behind them, and you're hitting them into that, because basically the attacks in this are movement-based, they are going to take an extra hit points worth of damage. Because basically what happens with most of your crew is when you hit an enemy, you're going to push them back 1 square and you're going to move into that square they were previously standing in. So say you go and hit a pawn, they've got 3 health bars, you've pushed them into a wall, they've bounced off it, they've now lost 2 health, they've only got 1 HP left. But it's not just the walls and the environment and stuff, you can push enemies into other enemies and deal damage to both of them. And not only that, what's really, really cool is if an enemy is relatively low health and they're at the edge of the ship, you can attack them and they are actually going to fall overboard, and that will be them gone. But not only that, if you can surround an enemy, there's absolutely no tile for that enemy to move to once you've done your attack. They are instantly going to die. So there's lots and lots of ways to basically change up the combat in this game. And there's different enemy types. You're going to get bombers. They're going to literally chuck bombs at your feet. You're going to get these, I think they're called powder barrel guys. They're going to basically buff up the damage of the other enemies that you're going to have to face. So when they hit you, instead of dealing 1 damage, like say a powder barrel dude goes and buffs up one of the basic pawns, that pawn next time it hits you is going to hit you for 2 damage instead of 1. So basically it buffs up the enemy crew. And the enemies are going to have all the same items and stuff, and if you haven't managed to take them out during the sea battle. So they might have extra movement, they might have extra health, they might basically heal for 1 HP every single start of a turn. And basically what you do is you go through the combat, you do the sea battle, you win that, you go into the hand-to-hand actual ship battle, you win that. Then you make progress through this raid, and it's not always enemy ships you're coming across. You might come across this random event that's going to offer you, for an example, you can spend 25 gold on a 50% chance to get 100 gold back. I did one of those and it ended up burning a massive hole in my balance because I tried the 25 gold, I lost it, and then it goes, oh, okay, this time try your hand at sacrificing 50 gold for the chance to win 200 back. And yeah, I lost that one too. So I was fucking 75 gold down at that point, which was quite frustrating because the gold is used during your raids. And at the very end of a raid, the penultimate place you go to is typically going to be a port or something like that. So that basically you can go there, you can repair all of your modules, you can buy new weapons and stuff like new cannons for your ship. So gold is really, really important in the run. So sacrificing 75, especially because you don't get a lot, it can be quite frustrating. But you come across all these events, you go through the ship battles, you visit the port and you do some repairing and stuff before the main battle, like the final encounter. And the final encounter is going to have a lot of enemies, and this is where you mostly expect to die. You can obviously successfully pull these raids off and win them, but especially at the start of your journeys, your first few raids, you are going to lose them. The chances of winning them are very, very slim. But the good thing about this is it's not just your pirates that you're in control of. You can befriend a kraken. And you can use this kraken to deal a lot of damage to, I think it's 5 enemies in a row. As long as they're in a line diagonally or straight, you can deal damage to all of them in a single hit if you summon this kraken and use it to your advantage. But that's going to use a different currency, so you're going to have to kind of balance all of that stuff out throughout your journey as well. And every now and then during the events, there's going to be a chance to extort. So you might go to a port, you'll have the option to do some extortion, and that's going to give you extra battles to get some things that are going to benefit you as you progress through the raid. And that's where I actually came across my first ever legendary. So there's rarities of items, you've got your cannons, your ship battles, your sea battles, then your crew battles. And you've got the raids. They come in different durations, some of them are story based, and basically once you have completed a raid, whether you win or lose, so winning doesn't actually matter that much, what's going to happen at the end is you are going to get XP for your crew members, you are going to receive blueprints, which are going to be used to buy upgrades and stuff, and then you're also going to earn glass, and glass is a currency that's used to recruit new crew members. So after each raid, you are going to go back to your hub, and you're going to prepare for the next one. And if your crew members, the ones you've recruited, are taking damage during your raids, then you have a choice. You can either basically put them on the chopping block, take them into the next raid. There is a chance they're going to lose all of their health. Or what you can do is you can recruit some extra crew members. You can basically sacrifice some new people. And you can put your other crew members in the quarters so that during your raid they are resting up and they are healing. And I think it's very, very important to keep your best crew members healed up, so rest them often, because those crew members are going to earn XP, they're going to unlock new skills, they're going to become stronger over time the more you raid. So there is a lot of strategy when it comes to playing Rogue Waters. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of replay value in this game. And I think the way the developers have set this one up it's incredible. They've actually thought about the players and things that are going to make the game more enjoyable, more entertaining. And it's not just pirates. There's also the hand-to-hand combat. That was a massive thing that was missing out of Skull and Bones, because we don't get too many pirate games. And granted, this is turn-based combat. Skull and Bones is an open world, but You've got the actual ship battles. You might not be able to control them, but they're still there. And then you've also got the land battles between your crew and the enemy crew. And you've got your different rarities, you've got skills, you've got upgrades, and over time your raids are going to become easier to take on, and you're going to be a lot more successful the more you run. And as I said, the developers make you very aware to expect to die a lot, because you are going to at the beginning of the game. There's lots of different difficulties you can go through, which are going to grant more XP, more glass, more blueprints, and everything like that. So to answer the question, is it worth playing Rogue Waters? I am going to say 100% absolutely yes, this is worth playing. Especially if you like the idea of turn-based combat, if you like the idea of pirates, and if you enjoy being able to not only use a crew, like a pirate crew, to board ships and take down enemies, but also being able to use sea monsters and stuff to your advantage during battle. And with it being a turn-based game, being able to undo every single move you've done throughout that turn, if you feel like you have made a mistake. I think this is a really, really good game. So it 100% has my recommendation, and what we are going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this game in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.